How important is CSDR for the regulation of the post-trade industry in the context of the current crisis?
It's absolutely critical. It's the missing link. We've regulated the trade repositories, we've regulated the clearing houses, now we need to regulate the CSDs. So the whole chain from top to bottom really needs that regulation. If you don't regulate the CSDs, you also miss out on huge opportunities for opening up the market. Issuer choice, where they issue their CSDs in, for instance, absolutely critical. And the second pillar is just as important. We need the CSD regulation in place to be able to get Target 2 securities up and running. They go hand in hand, so absolutely vital piece of legislation.
Are they going to be in place in time for June 2015?
Well, the European Commission has made everything possible to get its proposal on the table in time. The European Parliament has done its work. Kay Swinburne, the rapporteur from the Parliament, has delivered an excellent report, improved on the Commission's proposal in many respects. We now need to wait for the presidency, and we have heard recently from the Irish presidency that they're making this a priority and they're starting meetings again to discuss and hopefully close down this proposal in time. Because what many people forget is after adoption of the proposal, we still need a number of technical standards to be developed by ESMA and to be adopted by the Commission. They need to be in place before the end of 2014.
There are those in the industry who are critical, saying, oh, this is, what do they call it, regulation fatigue. We're at the risk of regulation fatigue. How do you reply to that?
I reply that in the 80s and the 90s, the industry came to us and said we do not need to regulate, rely on self-regulation. I am scarred by my own experiences in the regulatory arena in banking, by exempting special purpose vehicles and special investment vehicles from the Basel requirements. And I've seen the consequences. I've seen our system go down the drain. I've seen people lose their savings. I've seen people lose their jobs. I've seen my neighbours lose their houses because of the financial services and the financial sector crisis in 2009. If anything, we needed to re-regulate. We needed to reshape and redefine our regulatory objectives, and that is what is going on, and it's a small price to pay to get growth in Europe's economy back again and trust in the financial system.
OTCs, of course, are supposed to be brought in within the CCPs. That there are signs that is happening. You're never going to control them all, though, are you? Because the paper trail is so long and the counterparties aren't always clear.
Can't do that, don't want to do that. There will always remain a market for bespoke contracts. There will be contracts out there you can't put through the standardized sausage mill. It just doesn't work. And the worst decision for regulators to make or for legislators to adopt would be to put all OTC contracts into clearing houses. The CCPs can't measure the risk. If they can't measure the risk, they can't manage the risk. And if a CCP can't manage the risk, the contract shouldn't be cleared by that CCP in the first place.
Turning to collateral, you mentioned that there is no real shortage of collateral. It's like $4 trillion is needed for the European market. The problem is that because of the silo nature of the industry, it tends to get stuck in some places and not moved.
Absolutely correct. A lot of the industry says the numbers add up. We've heard that today. There is sufficient collateral in the system. Depending on how you define it, is how do you access that collateral? Because collateral makes the world go round, but collateral doesn't go round the world. There are lots of inefficiencies in the system, and that has to be one of our priorities in the very near future. Access that collateral, make it work more efficiently.
You need to know who owns it at any one stage.
If you don't know who owns the collateral, you can't use it in the first place.
But how can you do that? That's a difficult one, isn't it?
That is something we've been looking at for the past 10, 11 years. We've had very eminent groups of lawyers from across Europe look at this. We know what the problem is. We've had the legal analysis. We know what the possible solutions are. The next step is to start discussing and putting those solutions on the table. It won't be easy. It will be very difficult because all of the countries around the table will say, we have 27 different rules, I have a solution to the problem, adopt my rules. In Europe, we need to go about this in a more sensible way, and we can only do that with the help from the market, assistance from the lawyers, but also that absolutely important momentum and that push from the regulatory arena.